What is up, you guys? It's Monty, and today we're gonna talk about Wayward Son. Now, this is part review, part discussion video because I kind of want to take this moment to talk about a little phenomenon here, not only in the booktube community. I think this happens in a lot of places. But let's just get into it, right? There's gonna be no preface. Part discussion, part review. I want to talk about this phenomenon of when your opinion begins to hold value. One of my favorite YouTubers, Mila Pendulum, aka Princess Weeks, has a video on her channel that she posted, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, who knows. It was an older video of hers. If a person says they don't like a book, or they're on book Twitter and then they retweet some problematic content from a book, right? Like a little screen cap. You'll instantly have people mentioning in videos and in subtweets, oh, all of these people out here judging a book that they didn't read. They don't have the context. Context matters. Y'all are just hopping on the hate train. You didn't read it, so you can't have an opinion. You can't rate books you DNF'd. You didn't finish it. You can't have an opinion. But then, this is the other half. If, like with Wayward Son, I knew I wasn't going to enjoy the book, and then I read the book, and I finish the thing, my opinion is invalid because I hate read it. I did what you told me to do. I got the context. I read the thing, but my opinion doesn't count because I went in with an agenda. I didn't go in with an open mind, and because of that, it don't matter. And I'm just here to say all that is bullshit. I'm here to say that I think you should rate books that you DNF. I don't care if you read 1 page, if you read 10 pages, if you read the first 100 pages, if the book is 300 pages and you read 299 pages, if you decide, you know what, I'm gonna DNF it, it is your right to give it a star rating. It is your right because you consumed part of it. Now, I don't think you should be out here rating books you didn't read. And that goes for people who are on Goodreads who didn't read a book and give it 5 stars, and people who didn't read a book and give it 1 star. If you didn't read the book, you don't need to rate it. But if you read part of it, I don't care if it's 1 page, 10 pages, 50 pages, all but the last page, go give it whatever the fucking star rating you want. Now, as a person who is going to consume this particular review we're about to get to, about Wayward Son, don't worry, haven't forgotten. We're going to talk about the book. I might take it with a grain of salt. I might go, well, Monty read the book, but Monty knew he wasn't going to like it, and so Monty might be looking for things in the book that he didn't like, so I might still give it a chance because everything he said he didn't like, I don't mind. Perfectly valid. Perfectly valid way to consume it. Or you might even go, well, Monty said he didn't like it, but Monty said he went in knowing he wasn't going to like it, so I'm gonna go watch Becky's video. I'm gonna go watch Sarah's video. I'm gonna go watch Susan's video. Again, perfectly valid. But let's talk about Wayward Son. Wayward Son reads like the fanfic of an author who took a very small detail from the first fic that they wrote, right? And they decided the small detail was going to be the through line for the sequel fic. But because they chose this random small detail, the first half of the book has nothing to do with it. Then when you get to that detail, you're like, okay, I guess we can go with this detail. And we see through, and nothing happens. The characters aren't developed, their relationships aren't developed, there's nothing new added, it's just this seemingly random thing, and just kind of like this is the one I wanted. This is the one I signed up for. And it's almost worse because this isn't fanfic. This isn't on Archive of Our Own. We aren't on fanfic.net. We aren't like in 2008 here. You have to pay for this. Wayward Son is the sequel to Carry On, also by Rainbow Rowell. And it takes place a year after the events of Carry On. There is a brief epilogue at the beginning of this book that explains to you all of the things that happened. Not all of the things, but the important things you need to know to remind yourself of Carry On in case you're like me and was not going to sit through that book again because the book was trash the first time. Link in the cards to that video. It takes place a year after, so we pick up Baz and Simon, and I think Penny is also living here, but they have moved to London. Baz and Penny are full-time in university. Simon just sits on the couch all day. And Baz and Simon have entered this period in the relationship where it isn't working. Both of them kind of feel that it's not working. They both think the other's going to break up with them at any moment, and in the middle of trying to break up with Baz, Penny interrupts him to go on this spontaneous American road trip. And I don't think the novel knows what it wants to do in terms of the actual plot of the book until around page 200. The book is only 356 pages, so 156 pages, that's where the story takes place. But the depiction of America is this, like, none of the magicians talk to each other, there's no centralized school, they don't really do anything, their spells aren't as powerful, all makes no sense, because in this world, the magic comes from repeated phrases, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and be like America is the epicenter of pop culture, but it is. And I think specifically Black American culture is the epicenter of most popular culture in a global sense. And so this idea that American magic is just not it, I don't get it. Also, I will say that all of the American spells in this book were shit. They were just shit. They weren't good. And I was like, I don't see not one black phrase, and I call bullshit. Like, where is it? Black slang is all up in the vernacular. You're all saying spilling the tea. You're all snatching people's wigs. Where is it, Rainbow Rabble? Where is it? I was waiting. I didn't see not one black spell. So, no wonder their magic was bullshit. But I think that's just a side thing. What really bothered me was Simon and Baz's relationship in Carry On wasn't good to me. First of all, Basil in Carry On doesn't show up till page 120. And the book there, I think, is also like 300, maybe 400 pages. It's roughly the same length, I believe, from memory, not checking on Goodreads. He doesn't show up till like almost halfway through the book. And then for the other half of the book, where he is there, they don't really get together till halfway through that. So it's like 3/4 through the book. And then even after they get together, it's not like a great get together. Like, it's not a cute meet cute. It's not a solid relationship. There's like barely a foundation for them to be an actual couple. And so what I was hoping to get from Wayward Son was that they would have a connection, that they would be able to build a foundation during this road trip, and it would just be a light, fun, fantasy, contemporary romance, and I guess Penny would also be here. That's not what I get. They don't communicate for the entire book. Basil and Simon do not talk. So we go from this place where they want to be not together to them suddenly still being together, even though there's another random breakup at the beginning of the book that is not them. But they're not talking, so we're still in this, like, why are you together moment, right? And then at the end of the book, the third act, we're out here making out in the back of a car, and I'm like, where is this coming from? Because for a whole year, or at least a couple of months, based on the beginning of the book, and then the entire time you're on this road trip, so at least 2 days, so a whole month and 2 days, so 33 days, y'all have been in this position where you ain't fucking with each other like that. And all of a sudden you're out here making out in the back of the car, there's no communication, there's no discussion, there's no anything, there's no heart to heart. It's like he touched my back and I wanted to be warm and he was warming me and then I got horny. Like, pass, not interested, I want communication. Communication is sexy. So that really bothered me because the bulk of that we don't get. And then this book decides to introduce Shepard, who is a Black American character. Then over the course of the novel, every scene that Shepard is in, there's gun violence. Pretty much. Not every scene, but multiple scenes involving Shepard involve gun violence, and I was like, that's questionable. It's revealed that he's a normal person, and he doesn't have any magic, but he knows a lot. And at the end of the book, it's after a gun was pointed at his head, and I was like, you got the black character with a gun to his head. I mean, to be fair, everyone in this scene was in danger. But then, after all of that, and we're like 3 pages to the end of the book, it's revealed that our black character, Shepard, has no soul. What kind of racist buffoonery? The black man don't got no soul? When I tell you I wanted to throw this book across the library, I wanted to throw this book across the library. The black man has no soul. I think that's everything I need to tell you about this book. This is the actual plot of the book. The actual plot is that American vampires in Silicon Valley have decided, it's not all of the vampires in America, but these Silicon Valley types discovered some vampires and blackmailed them into turning them. And their big plan is to become vampires that use magic. And this was kind of alluded to in Carry On when we were following Baz after he was introduced to the story and how he had been kidnapped by some vampires that were trying to like extort his family or something. They were kind of alluded to like wanting to be able to practice magic. I think, again, I don't really think very much of Carry On. I could be wrong, but I feel like that was a plot point in the book. And so that was the thread that was pulled through to Wayward Son, and that's the actual conflict. So Agatha has been kidnapped by these vampires, and the last half of the book is the group going to save Agatha after this big revelation. And so the Silicon Valley vampires want to have magic and be the ultimate vampires, and the regular vampires that all live in Vegas are like, oh no, that's not good. And that's the actual plot of the book. And it was trash. It was trash because, again, it was some random plot point that no one really cared about, that no one wanted to see through. And then at the end of the day, you still have these two characters that have no chemistry, that have no development, and you want me to believe that they have this fantastical, amazing relationship, and I just can't. And so this whole book just felt like it was spinning its wheels, and I think that it's even worse when you think about the fact that this is the second book and now a trilogy. This wasn't announced until the book came out, and then on October 3rd, Rainbow Rowell tweeted a picture of the cover, or the teaser cover, for the third book in the series. And this has gone from being a standalone novel to now part of a trilogy, and I can't believe that we've been this hoodwinked. Why? I'll leave a link down in the comments. I'll leave a link down in the description to my Goodreads review where I went all in depth, stream of consciousness, right after I finished the book. So you can read over that. But I'm gonna go because I've rambled long enough and I really have nothing else to say. But yeah, let me know what you thought of Wayward Son. Like I said, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll see you in my next video, whenever that happens to be. But until then, bye.